When it comes to the rise of electric vehicles, for many brands, it's either been make or break. Now, for MG, it's been very much make. They were a brand which had started to fizzle out in the UK, and then suddenly, with the rise of electric cars, everyone started to know who they are. In 2019, they launched the MGZS, a very popular electric SUV, and now this is its replacement. This is the MGS5. It's a very similar vehicle, but it sits on a new platform. It has added space, added technology, it looks a little bit sharper, and it also has a little bit more range. What's there not to love? Hi guys, I'm Tish and welcome back to my channel Auto Social UK. In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything about this new model. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So why don't we start by taking a look around this new model. Prices start from £28,500 for the SE model, and this is with the standard range. It has a 47.1 kilowatt-hour LPF battery and 177 brake horsepower motor for 211 miles of range, while there's also a long-range version of the SE for £2,500 more, and the top spec trophy is a further 2.5 on top of this. These have a larger 62.1 kilowatt-hour NMC battery, and they get a slight power boost to 228 brake horsepower. That gives it 298 miles of official range in the SE trim and 288 miles in the trophy. The DC rapid charging speeds for the MG5 peak at 149 kilowatts for the 64 kilowatt-hour version and 120 for the 49 kilowatt-hour version, allowing it to charge from 10 to 80% in about 25 to 30 minutes with a powerful rapid charger. Using a standard 7 kilowatt home charger, a full battery takes approximately 8 to 11 hours, depending on the battery size. Unfortunately, there's no option for an 11 or 22 kilowatt AC charging, but I can't see that being an issue for most. In true MG fashion, you don't have to pick many extras. In fact, you only have to choose one extra, and that's what colour you want it finished in. Personally, I really quite like it in white. It works well with all the contrasting black elements. In terms of the design for this new vehicle, it has elements of MG4. You've got that sharp nose around the front, but it's in a much friendlier SUV family package. You also get some quite cool new lighting signatures. They're finished in this checkered flag design. Feels a bit sporty maybe for the model, but I actually quite like it. You also get the choice of 2 alloy wheel designs, depending on which version you go for, and all of them are pretty palatable. You also get a few lashings of chrome, and once again, if you go for the higher spec car, you get contrasting black door mirrors. But what about the interior? I'm actually very impressed with this interior. It feels like a step up from MG4, like they've taken all the good bits, but actually they've listened to feedback and they've fixed some things. You see, with the MG4, it was a bit too stripped back, very simplistic. In here, it's a bit squidgier. There's some nicer use of materials, and I like that because not only does it look better, but also it should help with some of the sound out on the road as well. Should soak up a little bit of that road noise. The layout is very good. It feels very spacious while still feeling a little bit plush. You've got this centre console, which has storage inside the armrest, but you also have a little bit of wireless charging, which is really conveniently just in place here, and you even have a little slot for your mobile phone as well. You've got some controls for your drive modes and also cup holders in front of those. You have a 2-screen setup with a digital driver's display and also a central touchscreen. Overall, this central touchscreen looks very clear and crisp. Once again, it really feels like a step up from that MG4. It's never going to be the best system. The sat-nav is not always the most accurate, but it does run Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is wireless, and that all works very nicely, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. What is brilliant is they've added some physical buttons, not loads of them, I'd like a few more, but you have got a physical dial to control your fan speed and also a shortcut to your home button, as well as a physical volume control dial, so all of this is very positive. The steering wheel also feels really nice. It's wrapped in leather, and then you've got the contrast of the chrome and the gloss black. It all pairs together very nicely and works well with the exterior details as well. I'm really quite impressed, but is it as good a news out on the road? This latest generation car has had quite a few upgrades to the driving dynamics compared to the ZS that it replaces, and that's all very positive. The ZS was never really known for being very good to drive, and although this new model is not exactly exciting, it's not going to be thrilling, I certainly won't be doing any track driving like I have in the Abarth 600e, it's still very, very capable. You see, it's now based on the MG4 platform, and that means it's slightly stiffer in its suspension setup and it's more engaging to drive. The steering is really well weighted. It's the perfect balance of being light enough to drive around town and to nip in and out of spaces. And also, I've been really impressed that it has a pretty good turning circle as well. But when you're on those faster roads, it stays pretty well composed. And even when going around corners quickly, it definitely has less body lean than the ZS. So that's all good news. There are some small negatives, however, and that's also down to that suspension. Because it is stiffer, it's slightly more brittle in the way that it drives, and you feel quite a lot of the bumps in the road. Another reason I would definitely step up to this Trophy trim. You see, the Trophy has this slightly plusher interior. It's a bit more squidgy, and I think it soaks up a few more of the bumps. When it comes to the entry-level cloth seats, they tend to be a little bit cheaper and not exactly the best bolstered, so you're going to feel a lot more of those lumps when driving. Both the Skoda Elroq and the Kia EV3 are more comfortable to drive, but that doesn't put me off of this car. In fact, comparing this car to other Chinese EVs that I've driven recently, things from BYD and also JQ, what I'm really impressed about and what stands out is the fact that I think MG have got a good idea of what we want in the UK or what we want in Europe when it comes to driving dynamics. The steering is much heavier. It's not heavy, but it's far more engaging to drive than those Chinese EVs that opt for the super light suspension, which just mean that it feels almost a little bit hard to handle at higher speeds. This feels a lot better. That turning circle is excellent. I've been really impressed with the turning circle. I'm not really finding too much to dislike about this car. MG say that it's one of the most powerful in its class. But actually, power delivery feels linear rather than brisk. So if I slow right down, what we'll do is we'll stamp on the accelerator and we'll see if it makes a difference. And stamp on the accelerator. You see, it's a really smooth power delivery. You don't get too much of the jerky movements, which I think are brilliant, especially as this is a family car. No family wants to be thrown about as you kind of step on and off of the accelerator, giving you a really jolty drive. It's just very smooth. I'm actually really impressed. So it performs as expected out on the road, but this is a family car and it's so important that it has space for all the family. The good news is it has grown over the ZS. It's now 153mm longer and 40mm wider than the ZS EV, but interestingly, it's 4mm lower. Most importantly though, the S5 EV has a 145mm longer wheelbase than the model that it replaces. So the size has increased and also the battery is now much slimmer, so that should equal more space in the back. Well, why don't we check it out? Well, I think this speaks for itself, doesn't it? Look how much room I've got. This is in my seating position, so I've not pushed them all far forward just to give me the illusion of more space. I really have this much space in the back. Loads of legroom, plenty of headroom. Sure, the amenities in here aren't quite as good as what you get in the Skoda Elroq. I have only got one USB-C charge port. I have got a pull-down armrest with a couple of cup holders, but there's no through loading. However, it seems fine, it's comfortable enough. I've got storage inside the doors, but when it comes to space, this has really impressed me. But does that mean that they've compromised on boot space? Well, it's actually still surprisingly competitive. Inside the boot, you will find 453 litres. That's about 20 shy of the Skoda Elroq, but very competitive. The space is also nice and wide. You've got a low opening with a flat floor, and you'll also find some additional storage underneath the boot floor with nets on either side. So I don't think that the MGS5 is particularly revolutionary. It's not exactly going to have Skoda shaking in their boots, but I do think it's another very good option for an affordable EV. And it now does have a ton of space compared to the outgoing ZS. But let me know, what do you think of this new model from MG? I really hope you have enjoyed the video today, guys. If you have, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then you know what to do. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Until next time, see you later.